Hi, this is a word that I got this morning. It's the 26th of October. Alone, the sheep wandered through the forest. He could see the faint light coming through the trees, far, far away. The terrain was rough and rocky, and the forest was very thick, tough for the sheep to navigate. It was getting darker as the day was coming to a close. The sheep thought he could hear the far-off voice of his shepherd, but he wasn't sure. Was that the shepherd's voice he was hearing? He passed all sorts of evil-looking animals and creatures. There was growling and vicious-sounding attacks and gnashing teeth as he passed by on the narrow trail. His wool coat was being torn out and ripped as he hurried towards the light that was growing dimmer and dimmer. Panic was setting in as it began to rain harder and harder. The wind was blowing, and the muddy earth shook underneath him. He suddenly slipped and slid down into a ravine. He attempted to climb up the slippery and muddy side of the ravine, but to no avail. He could no longer see the light. Darkness was falling around him. The sounds of terror grew louder and louder. His fear buckled his legs underneath him. He laid helplessly in the mud, filthy and shaking with fear and cold. Oh, how he wished he had never left his shepherd. How he wished he wouldn't have thought he could have found better places to graze on his own. He lay there in fear, remembering the tender, loving care that his shepherd had provided for him so many times in the past. He longed to be back with his herd and in the loving care of his master. The sounds of carnage grew closer and closer. The thunder and lightning erupted around him. He lay there in the mud, losing hope that he would ever find the safety and comfort of his herd and feel the love of the shepherd again. The shepherd would never come looking for him. He was just one of many. The shepherd had so many to watch over and worry about. Why would he come for me, the sheep thought to himself. I have abandoned him and went on my own. Sure, the sheep had done this before, but he had always made it back. The shepherd had tried to warn him as he was walking away. The sheep sneered at the shepherd. The so-called greener pastures had been too great a temptation for the worldly sheep. Blackness surrounded the sheep now. It was only a matter of time before some wild beast caught his scent and would come to devour him. All hope was slipping away. His once white fleece matted in mud. He had tears in his flesh, revealing open wounds. His adventure had taken its toll on him. He was looking at his situation and finally giving up hope that he would ever make it out of the ravine. As he waited to be devoured, he drifted off to sleep, exhausted from all that he had been through. All of a sudden, he felt himself being lifted from the mud. It was the strong arms of the shepherd wrapped around him. The shepherd, carrying him on his shoulders, climbed up and out of the ravine. The shepherd held the sheep close to his heart as they ventured through the forest, with all the beastly noises going on around them. The shepherd was brave. He was never worried. He brought the sheep to a clear, clean river and washed his wounds and cleaned his wool. He was as white as snow again. The shepherd wrapped the sheep in warm blankets and dried him to stop his shaking. The shepherd tended his wounds, cleaning them and treating them. The sheep was now home, safe, warm, and dry. He did not deserve anything the shepherd had done for him. His eyes were opened to how much the shepherd loved him. He would never leave the side of the shepherd again. He would always cling to his shepherd because nothing he could find out in the world would ever hold a candle to the love he felt when he was wrapped in his shepherd's arms.